So you've got insomnia because you're over 65 or over 70 or over 80, right? And of course you've got insomnia. It's age that has done it. And so when you go to the doctors, you get completely written off. It's like, well, you're not sleeping, that's to be expected because you're over 65, so nothing we can do about it, right? And that's something that I hear a lot because I do work a lot with older clients, and they're more or less written off when they go to their doctor. It's a bit like going to your doctor with a bad right knee and the doctor saying, oh, well, of course you've got a bad right knee. How do you expect it to feel if you're 70? And you go, well, I expect it to feel like my left knee, not bad. And that's kind of how it is. It's kind of like this thing where if you're over a certain age, then it's expected that you have these ailments. And of course, insomnia is going to be one of them. And it's a really damaging thing, the way older people, not in all cases, but can be treated by healthcare professionals where they're just instantly written off. And it's kind of like, well, there's nothing we can do for your problem. It's just old age and that's it. And that's not true. It's not true in any way, shape or form. So let's compare two people here. So we've got someone who is 75 and I were to ask them about their sleep. And I say, well, how do you sleep? And they said, well, I don't sleep as well as I was when I was 30. I have to get up in the middle of the night where I use the toilet 2 or 3 times. And the quality of my sleep isn't as good as when I was younger. I will wake up more frequently than I used to. And I reckon that when I was 30s, 40s, I used to spend about 7 hours in bed and get about 6.5 hours sleep. Now, because I can't seem to get as good sleep quality as I used to get, I'll spend about, 8.5 hours in bed, and I'll get a similar amount of sleep as well, probably 6.5 hours. So slightly longer in bed, but I would say overall I'm getting a similar amount of sleep that I used to get. It's just that the quality it's not awful, it's not terrible, but it's not the same. But I still do sleep okay-ish, as good as could be expected, despite some ailments that I've got, despite having to use the toilet a couple of times in the night. I sleep all right. And I'll ask them, do you have any anxiety around your sleep? How do you feel when you wake up in the middle of the night? Fine. Sometimes it'll take me 20 minutes to fall asleep, sometimes half an hour. Sometimes I drop after 5, but I don't feel really anxious. I don't ruminate when I'm in bed. I'm not stressed. I'm not worried. What about behaviors during the daytime? Have you changed your behaviors during the day? Well, I'd say I tend to get up a little bit earlier and go to bed a bit earlier. And yeah, I'm a little bit more fatigued, so perhaps I do slightly less in the day. Well, overall, I continue my days as I used to, and I've got more time on my hands. So actually, I kind of stack it with things that I enjoy. I'm still going on holiday. I'm still going snorkeling. I'm still doing all the kind of things that I used to enjoy. All right, well, you don't have insomnia. If this person doesn't have insomnia, they've got poor quality sleep. Yeah. The kind that you'd expect with someone who's in their 70s. Okay, good enough. That's the sleep they've got. Good enough under the circumstances. Right. All right. Then if I was to speak to someone else and I was to speak to them, someone who's also in their 70s, and say, well, how do you sleep? And they say, well, I sleep appallingly. But obviously I sleep appallingly because I'm in my 70s. All right, well, let's talk a bit more about that. How long do you spend in bed? And how long do you used to spend in bed? Well, I used to spend 7 hours in bed. But now I spend 12 hours in bed. And the vast majority of that time is spent in an anxious, stressed, worried state because I'm not sleeping when I'm in bed. How does it feel when you're thinking about going to bed? Absolutely dreadful. I fear the bed in the bedroom. I feel my heart rate, my body temperature, my adrenaline increasing. I feel absolutely dreadful even thinking about going to bed. What about the things that you do during the daytime? More or less stopped doing anything that I used to enjoy. I've got really great friends that I used to have, and I've stopped spending time with them because I'm so worried about my sleep and I'm so fatigued, and I just limited my life because I'm not sleeping very well. Okay, so what about things that you're doing. What does your supplement cupboard look like when it comes to your sleep? 20 different ones, 20, 30, 40. What do you spend your daytimes doing? You're researching new supplements, because I think there's something incredibly wrong with my brain. I'm in my 70s, so I must have a serotonin problem. I must have a GABA problem. I must have an L-theanine problem. My brain doesn't produce enough dopamine, so I'm always on the lookout for that next supplement that's going to fix it. Okay, so you've got a completely full supplement thing. And what about other things? Yeah, rituals. So many rituals for sleep. I do all the warm baths, I do all the kiwi fruits, I do all the meditation. I could write a PhD when it comes to sleep tips and tricks. Okay, so you're in your 70s and you're anxious, you're obsessed, you're worried about sleep. Can you see the difference here between someone who hasn't got as good quality of sleep because they're in the 70s and someone with full-blown chronic insomnia, obsessions, anger, fear, frustration, limiting of your life, ritualistic behaviors? And that's, I think, where doctors get it so wrong, because they don't understand the true nature of insomnia. So by working on your behaviors when it comes to your sleep, by working on your thought patterns when it comes to reducing the anxiety, the obsession, the fear, the controllable worry around your sleep, I can't ever turn someone into a good sleeper as they were when they were in their 30s before they had any health concerns. But I can certainly turn chronic insomnia into normal sleep to be expected for someone who is in their 70s or 80s. And so if you've ever gone to your doctor and you felt that you've treated so differently than when you were in your 30s, when you've gone there and you've lost hope that insomnia can ever be overcome, just know it's because the person that you're speaking to, for no fault of their own, doctors on average only receive about an hour and a half of sleep medicine training throughout their entire career. They're not going to understand the difference between chronic insomnia and poor quality sleep. So if you think you're a lost cause because you've sort of in a way been told that within the healthcare profession that is what you are, absolutely not true. I've helped people 70s, 80s, 90s, doesn't matter what age group they are, by putting the right behavioural changes in place, by doing things which actually get to the root cause of insomnia. Don't care how old you are, you too can be free of it. Sleepsy.com for a step-by-step, week-by-week program which tells you exactly what to do, all the behavioural changes, tons of things on there. It's got email support, it's got forum support, it's got my audio books on there as well, it's got hours of videos, it's got written work, it's got ways to rewire the brain. Have a look there, think you're going to love it, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, bye.